Hi slaves, I am Princess Seva, or Dictatress. I'm here to give you your JOI instructions for the week. This week, your JOI instructions are called manDATORY. Little man, M-A-N lowercase. These are the codes of conduct for Femocracy men. And since we're dealing with rules and regulations this week, we're also going to be dealing with heights, weights, and measurements. We're going to be going over personal codes of conduct. These are not really the laws under Femocracy that would govern ownership rights or voting rights or any kind of privileges. These are codes of conduct, so the way that you should behave with women. Get on your knees and start edging. I want all of this to sink into your little man brains. Okay, first I'll give you your assignment for the week so you don't forget it, and then I'll go over some of the codes of conduct. Your assignment for the first day will be edging to any kind of femdom content. If you are owned, it should be of your own mistress. The second day will be expelling your seed. Standing up, aiming it at the side of the shower or something. Because what you're going to be doing is measuring how high you can shoot. So you better edge a lot the first day and build it up. You need to maybe drink fluids for this whole week too and stay hydrated so you can produce more. So the first week, like I said, you'll be standing up when you expel, and you're going to aim it straight up while you're standing at the side of a shower wall, or preferably even like a glass shower stall, so you can see how high it hits. You're going to mark it and measure it, and I want you to keep track of it, how high you can shoot it. Try to really propel it upward. Then the third day, you will be edging. The fourth day, you will be expelling your seed again. This time, you're going to measure distance. So I want you on your knees for this one, aiming it outward and trying to shoot it as far as you can. And measure the very farthest drop, as far away as you can, and keep track of it. I want you all to aim for your personal best on every one of these. And then on the fifth day, you will be edging again. And then on the sixth day, make sure you build it up. You're going to need a lot, because on the sixth day, you're going to measure volume that you shoot. So expel on the sixth day and catch it in some sort of clear container, a shot glass or a glass or a wine glass or whatever. And if you have, you know, a small scale that you can use, then I want you to weigh it. But if not, I want you to mark the glass and keep it because you're going to be using it again next week. So I want you to measure and see how far you fill up and keep track of it. Mark it so you'll know how much volume you were able to shoot. I hope that you'll aim for your personal bests ever on all of these. And then you're going to be practicing some of the codes of conduct this week too while you're doing that. So I'm going to go over some of the mandatory codes of conduct for men in Femocracy. There are different rules in private than there are in public. Eventually, the rules in private may evolve over time into more public expectations as they become more widespread and more accepted. Okay, the first thing you need to know is how to address women when you speak with them. There are different ways to do this in public and in private right now. You always need to use a title or an honorific when you speak to a woman, especially your mistress or any female supremacist or femdom. So in public, things that could pass would maybe be yes, miss. You could say miss, or princess, some people are fine with too, or ma'am, you know, something that you could say out in public, you know, to address her. The thing with titles is they show respect, but honorifics, they actually show status, that the person that you are talking to is superior to you. That's the point of honorifics. So when you address these women in private, you definitely have to use an honorific, whatever the woman who is ruling you prefers. Most of them have an honorific that they like to be addressed by. This could be mistress, goddess, queen. Different ones use different ones, so you need to find out specifically what she likes. I myself don't really mind, as long as it's, you know, being respectful of me and addressing me with a title. You can call me dictatress, you can call me Princess Seva, Mistress Seva, Goddess. I don't really mind that much, but most women do mind, so you have to make sure and personalize it to the woman you're talking to. So the next thing I want to talk about is dress codes, which are going to vary for men in public and in private too. In private, you might be stripped of all of your clothes. You may be asked to strip, like closed female, naked male. It's often the case when you're with a female supremacist that you will be naked in her presence. There again, it's about status. You're more vulnerable when you're naked. She's clothed, so she has more power. You're more exposed, on display, objectified if you're naked. So it is often the case that they will have you get naked in private. Most of the time you'll be wearing a collar in private. Some of the things that might happen to you in public would be that you might have to get dog tags in the future that have your slave number for Femocracy, or maybe your mistress's name who owns you. Something that you could wear out in public all the time, dog tags just under your shirt. In private though, you just don't know what would be asked of you. I mean, different women like different things. Some of them might have a uniform for you to wear while you're cleaning or serving them. Some of them may want you to dress like sexy in a Speedo. I don't really know, it varies per woman. expect to be in a collar, definitely. A slave collar in private. And a lot of the time the women expect chastity too, sometimes in private, sometimes in public, under your clothes. I've also been working on Femocracy clothing that has like the Femocracy logo on it. There are a lot of t-shirts and hats and different things now for men that they can wear. So I'll post a link about that too, because more and more you're probably going to start wearing things that, you know, express that you're a male slave to Femocracy. In private, you might also be gagged, wearing a gag to keep you quiet. In public, I think more and more in the future, men will probably start wearing GPS tracking bracelets. So whatever woman is monitoring them will know where they are. Okay. Next, I want to go over rules of speech because these are very important. Men really flub these up a lot. Vows of silence have been used, you know, throughout history to instill humility. So you get that sensation that you're being acted upon. You're only receiving information, not contributing any information, so that you realize that you're not the one in control. So you could be either gagged at home, like I said, or you could just have a vow of silence imposed on you by your mistress. It does instill in you the fact that you're going to have to take orders, not give them, because you can't even talk. Okay, the second rule of speech is speak when spoken to. Other than that, men really don't have permission to speak. Speak when spoken to. So this teaches you to be a receptor, be receptive. And when a woman is talking to you, don't just be thinking of your own thoughts while they're speaking. Be an active listener. Don't be thinking like, well, I think this, and I know that, and I would say that, but you're keeping your mouth shut, but you're thinking about it the whole time. Think about what she is saying and absorb information. Your job is to listen and obey. Okay, number 3 rule about speech is that in Femocracy, there are certain words that are banned from men, and I'm sure there are going to be more that are going to be added to the list. Right now, the word should is banned for men, S-H-O-U-L-D, especially when speaking to a woman, because I've found that men use that word all the time. You don't need to tell women what to do. You should do this, I should do this, I don't care. The word is banned for men when speaking to a woman. Do not use should. The other one that comes up way too much is I think. Men are always trying to insert their opinion all the time. It's called mansplaining. So I think is I penis. Little I, not capital I, lowercase I, penis, instead of I think, if you have to use it at all. Otherwise, men are constantly correcting women, talking over them, interrupting women, mansplaining. Men need to learn about dialogue. It's a back and forth conversation, not a monologue. And they need to wait their turn to speak. Okay, some of the other rules. Eventually we will have chastity rules in place for when men have to wear chastity out in public, general rules of chastity. We will have curfews for men from dusk until dawn. Men won't be allowed out after night. Restricted areas for women only. The cum tax. Men will have to pay the cum tax when they want to have ejaculations for the week. Eventually we may assign it for each and every cum tax, but right now we have one for the week. So on the Twitter blast this coming Saturday that goes over all the information about the codes of conduct, I want all of you to pay one of the women of Femocracy a cum tax. And I will list a whole bunch of women from Femocracy in all different cities before the Twitter blast or at the Twitter blast so that you can pick one and communicate with her and find out how she takes payments and make arrangements to pay her your cum tax. We traditionally say it's like $25 a week. It's not much. You can handle it. We do propose possibly a man tax in general over time, which would be a generalized tax for men that they have to pay, that women don't have to pay, that contributes to costs like crime and things like that, that men drive up the costs of so much because they're so much more violent. Okay, so this week while you're doing your JOI exercises, you're going to start practicing some of the codes of conduct. So the way you're going to do that is pick one day this week where you can do a day of complete silence. Take a vow of silence for that whole day. Pick a day when you're off work, when you don't expect to be around people, and practice a full and complete day of silence. You can pick which day of the week, whichever one you think would work for you in your schedule, whatever is more convenient for this week. Pick one day and do a full day of silence, a vow of silence. You still do your JOI exercises for that day. I also want the men to practice curfew this week to get in the habit of it. I know some of you have to work after hours of, whatever you have to do, but aside from anything that you have to do, work-related or, family, I want you to be in from dusk until dawn, staying in for your curfew. So you'll be indoors from dusk until dawn all week, whenever you can. If you can't do it every day, then do it on the days that you can. You also need to be practicing your speech restrictions this week. So whenever you're talking with women, addressing women, be very careful that you only speak when you're spoken to, and not at all on your day that is your vow day of silence. Okay, so let me go over your JOI assignment one more time. Practice the codes of conduct. And your JOI assignment is first day edging, second day expelling, and you're going for height, as high as you can, and measure it. Day 3, edging again. Day 4, expelling. Distance on your knees, as far as you can, shoot it out and measure it. Day 5, edging. Build it up as much as you can. You may want to drink water and fluids, stay hydrated, because you're going for volume. Day 6 is volume. Make sure you catch it in some kind of a clear container, a shot glass, a glass, wine glass, something. If you have a food scale that you can measure it on in the glass, great. If not, you're just going to mark a line and keep track, because next week, we're gonna repeat again so that you'll have a chance to try to beat your own personal best. So the following week, we're gonna go through the exact same stages, and you're gonna do all the measurements again for height, distance, and volume. So this is actually a 2-week assignment. It just repeats on the second week. And you can try to beat your personal best. Also, make sure as many of you as possible will be able to attend the Twitter Blast, which is a live discussion on Twitter, where we will go over a lot more of the rules, the codes of conduct. We'll go over them in more detail. I'll have them listed out for you so you can see them. And we'll have discussions about that too, and women will be participating. They can add in their 2 cents, what they think. Everyone has a little bit different opinion about what to do, so everyone can contribute to their thoughts about the codes of conduct, and the men will learn them. So the Twitter Blast takes place on my Twitter, @Dictatress. If you can't spell that, you can find me probably @PrincessSeva, SEVA, and that'll direct you to the Dictatress Twitter. And this coming Saturday, the 7th of August, will be the Twitter Blast, which is the Twitter discussion where we will go over the codes of conduct again. Okay, so you start your JOI now. You do it the full week. Saturday, August 7th. I want you to report in on Twitter and attend the Twitter Blast so we can go over the codes of conduct there. And then you're going to repeat for next week. Do all of the tasks, do all the weights and measurements, and see if you can beat yourself. I'll talk to you soon.